Cancer, welcome to your mid-July 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. The story of my life, I had to start over again. And there was like a really loud alarm that always happens at 10 o'clock on Tuesday mornings. That's how I can always know that it's just like a warning alarm that they're testing out every time. So it just happened to be when I was recording. Okay, so I'm going to start over again. And hopefully it'll be in focus. I was having issues with that as well. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So the heart of the matter is the Ace of Cups. And this can be a card of a new love in your life, a new endeavor that involves creativity or healing, or a new baby on the way. And I don't know if this can be like already just having a new baby. Perhaps that's also the case. But something that is a new love in your life. A baby is a new love in your life too. It doesn't have to be romantic. And it's coming on the heels of this card. The Mother of Pentacles, which is actually the Queen of Pentacles. Isn't that cute, that little fawn? It's interesting because I had never, where I live, there are deer at certain times of the year that can sometimes even go in the backyard. But I've never seen a really small little deer like the one in that picture that has a lot of little spots. And because I was watching a video on YouTube about, that showed like a really little deer. And I thought, gosh, I've never seen one. And then the other day I saw one for the first time. And it was so cute. It was so cute. So the Queen of Pentacles is a card of, if you break it down, the Queen represents the water element and Pentacles represents the practical things in life. So it's nurturing those practical things. It's the home life. And being, a literal mother, that's why I'm sure this deck is calling the Queen the Mother, because it does represent the mother as well. So whether you have your mother staying with you, or if you are a woman, you're working at home, or even a man, I like to keep things with the genders when I'm dealing with court cards, but on the other hand, it's the spirit of it. Since we're doing general reading, if you are a man and you are taking care of your children, then, the element of nurturing them, we could call it mothering them. And that involves taking care of them. So, but the Pentacles are connected to it. So how I interpret that is that there has been this balance achieved. Now, this may have come from an outer force, like, a shutdown, and kind of forcing people to stay at home, and then they discover, wow, I can actually function at home. I don't need to be out there, and I want to be with my children. We've bonded, Some people have had their children in daycare since they were born, and that's just natural for them. And this is not saying anything against daycare, but imagine if you had your children somewhere else during the day for years on end, or even just like a year on end, and then all of a sudden you're taking care of them, or you're with them night and day, and you discover that you enjoy that. You thought that you wouldn't. You thought you'd go crazy if you had to be stuck at home. That might have been your feeling, and then you realize that it really is a good thing. Now, I don't think many Cancer people think like this, because you tend to be very domestic anyway. And if you have to work away from home, it might even be something that is a bit difficult for you. But there are, not everybody is the same, and there might have been some of you who enjoyed working away from home, and now you realize that. The other thing too is the idea that you can make money and sustain yourself doing something creative, or doing something that involves the healing arts. By the way, I just noticed that the sun just kind of disappeared, so now it's very dark. But I'm hoping that it comes back, because I don't want to, you know, that's going to be impossible to get up and flip a switch or anything. So, yeah, so that's very interesting. And then we have as a higher message, the Father of Pentacles. So the Father of Pentacles, oh, he's got a rainbow antler. I don't know what that's all about. So the Father of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, is the money mogul. And again, you know, we're talking about, when we look at the Mother of Pentacles and the Father of Pentacles, it's like the yin and the yang as it relates to work and finances and the home life, which is taking care of business, the father, the masculine element, the provider, but not just the provider. I mean, this is the top of the line in, you know, achieving financial abundance and being, you know, at the top of one's game, self-empowerment and that sort of thing. Because, you know, the king doesn't take orders, the king gives orders. And the queen is the person who is also living in abundance, but is also the nurturer. So when we have both of these, we can talk about like a great team. So if somebody is pregnant, then both of these people are on the same page, and they're going to be great parents. They're going to be great providers. So that's something that they don't have to worry about. Because, you know, with the cups, we're talking about the emotion, then we're talking about the earth element. And then we have, as a challenge, we have the Emperor. I don't know why a tree is depicted as the Emperor in this deck. Sometimes when there are very, you know, kind of obtuse symbols or depictions for a particular card, I'm always wondering, you know, what are they trying to imply? Some of them are ingenious in this particular deck, which is the Wild Unknown tarot deck, but some of them I'm still scratching my head after using this deck for probably a couple of years. So the Emperor is number 4 in the major arcana and is associated, they say, with Aries. I associate it with Capricorn, which the interesting thing about the Father of Pentacles, I feel like even though you're water Cancer, you're the Mother of Pentacles, and the Father of Pentacles is Capricorn, these opposite signs. But the Emperor is about control. And this is another card that is connected to the Father. So that's a very interesting theme that is recurring here. But it's the controlling type. It's the authoritarian type. The kind of professions that are associated with the Emperor are law enforcement, the military, where people are operating under usually a very black and white protocol. And so there's a certain rigidity, and it almost has to be that way because sometimes, you know, you're in these very life and death circumstances and you don't have time to, you know, think of the nuances of a situation, unfortunately. And but this person may not be living under that right now, and yet they're operating that way. So an example is if you are, I mean, this could even be like a father or father-in-law who is very controlling, who thinks that now, you know, a narcissistic parent, when they find out they're a grandparent, they become even worse because now they have that authority again, or they have that, you know, identity. This could be you know, a situation of, if you're with a person like this, and perhaps since the Father of Pentacles is in the spiritual lesson position is that this is the kind of person that you belong with, if you don't have that right now. And the Emperor is the person you might currently be dealing with. And the thing is, either that or a father. And sometimes if somebody has a father like that, they will choose a mate like that as well. And understanding that power comes from within. This may even be a facet of yourself if you find yourself being more controlling because you're nervous that you're going to become a mother, or you're concerned because you're a man and you don't know how you're going to support yourself or support your family with an extra mouth to feed. Also, the Emperor could be like a wayward boss that you're dealing with. But with the Ace of Cups, if you're dealing with a wayward boss, it almost doesn't matter, because it sounds like you're trying to start your own business anyway. What is coming in, or the advice, is represented by the Five of Cups, and this is a card of disappointment or grief, sorrow. I think that what could be going on here, I'm trying to think astrologically for Cancer. Oh, so you're, yeah, what I think could be happening here is that, oh yes, because this summer, there have been eclipses in both your sign and Capricorn. As a matter of fact, we just had a lunar eclipse in Capricorn, and that's your opposite house. That's the 7th house. So this may be when you really saw your partner in a true light, or something came to a head. And if that is the case, it's not going to be in everybody's case, but if that's the case, excuse me, you have to be willing to see it for what it is. And that involves grieving the loss of what that represents, the dream that you feel died. The Ace of Cups, though, either indicates new love, or this would be the worst case scenario, obviously, but if you're somebody who's pregnant and then you find out that your mate is a jerk, that, maybe your mate didn't want to be a parent, and that is something that disappointed you because you thought you were on the same page. And it doesn't negate from the happy news. Or if you've met somebody that you feel strong emotional bond to, but you're still involved with somebody else, there may be grief. There may be this sense of disappointment that things didn't work out, but it doesn't have to be the end of the world. Grief is a natural part of life. Sometimes we feel a sense of disappointment, but that doesn't stop us from being able to persevere. And the outcome, 2 cards came out, the Father of Swords. So here's another Father. Now this is the King of Swords, so this means if you have to make a decision, you're really realizing the need for being detached. For Cancer, this is a major test, or challenge for you, because you are very emotional and you are very nurturing. And so if there is something that you have to decide, don't allow anybody to manipulate you, and also don't allow yourself any kind of don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of something because you're so afraid that it means that you are a bad person and you get guilt trips or what have you. And I picked an additional card. Well, I mean, it came out together. The Wheel of Fortune, aligning with your life, your purpose, and feeling that sense that things are falling into place as they should. And, you know, that making you feel like there's some kind of momentum in your life. Because we do ebb and flow, don't we? There's sometimes we wake up in the morning and we're raring to go, and sometimes we're just kind of chill. And sometimes we're like, oh, you know, wake me up when it's 2021, you know? So definitely this is your time. You're going to have your last eclipse in your sign in December. And so for the next 6 months, there are still more lessons to be learned and things to experience. Even the solar eclipse in your sign, you still may not have received all of the changes and opportunities really that is going to provide. So I wish you well. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.